Joey P, man, with stats in hand, spilling numbers like grains of sand. Fantasy talking about diamond dreams, chasing players, whispering their schemes. Oh, Welsh, breaking it down real slow, voices howling in the radio's glow. Talking monsters on the baseball field, wizards swinging bats and magic shields. Fantasy baseball in the night, podcasters giving us that sight. Question marks and stars collide, dreams of glory never hide.
Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live. It's me, Joey P. Joe P's up here with me, of course, is the Welsh, and it's all of you, the Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks, here on our Twitch, twitch.tv/fantasypros. That's the place to be Monday through Friday at noon Eastern, and of course, you can watch us always on demand on our YouTube channel, Fantasy Pros MLB. Subscribe today, drop a comment on this or any video, and like the video, and you might just win yourself a Juan Gonzalez autographed jersey from pristineauction.com. The July giveaway, not too many days left. TikTok, baby. If you want this bad boy, drop your comment, subscribe, and ring the bell till it goes ding, so you never miss a piece of content on Fantasy Pros MLB. Welsh, I know you saw the Superman this weekend. You kind of had the same thing I did, which was like, it's good. It's good. I liked it. Like, I wasn't invested emotionally in any of the characters, but I enjoyed the experience. I think that's kind of the vibe you gave as well.
About the same. Yeah, I think it was Jerry that came in our chat and was like, this movie stinks. And I was like, oh, great. I'm going in a couple hours. But no, I was like, it was a fun movie. There was like a lot of excitement and a lot of like comic book lore. It was way more comic book accurate, but it was like we stepped into the 7th edition. Superman number 7 on the 16th page of that edition. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, we didn't go in at number 1 at number 1. We just,
I thought that was clever. I thought that was a good idea, but then at the same time, that's what happens. You don't end up caring because there's no emotional journey you're taking to get to that point.
Yeah.
So it's a little
it's a fun movie.
There.
It's a fun movie.
You know, we're gonna do our emotional journey of the weekend of baseball because baseball was back. And I know the Dodger fans have a lot of feelings right now. Oh, they're in their feelings.
Yeah.
The Brewers had kicked their ass 6-0 this season. The sweep of the Dodgers. I love this. It's just absolutely fantastic. We saw it before the break, and then they went to LA after the break and got their brains pounded in by the Brewers, who right now, where are they on the standings? Well, in that... the central.
Well, while you're looking, all I know is that breaking news, I
today?
believe the city of LA has banned from all liquor stores Milwaukee Best. That has been kicked out of the city and because the Brewers absolutely own this Dodgers team right now.
Yeah, old Milwaukee is tied with the Cubs today, officially tied for the National League Central. So
you got to be feeling pretty good about your bet. I've never really been with you on this. Like, the Brewers are gonna, especially take the division. I think the Cubs are gonna make a splash here in the near future. But at least you're making it a really tight, close race. And if you bet Brewers make the playoffs, that feels a little bit even better than maybe winning the division, though.
All right. Speaking of the Cubs, some rumors about Eugenio Suarez going there. That's a lot of rumors. A lot of rumors, just him going somewhere. And he's
Everywhere.
Everywhere. But he's doing a good job of getting out of town because he had a pair of home runs, drove in 4 yesterday. D-backs get the win over the Cardinals. We'll get to more Cardinal rumors in just a moment here. Wilyer Abreu, 2 homers himself, drove in 3. The Red Sox just continue to climb them standings. Now, the Red Sox, in case you're, curious, they are now in the wild card. They are also just 5 games out of the Blue Jays at first base. The Yankees are first place. The Yankees are 3 games. So things are tightening up there in the East, which I really love. It's a very fun time. Abreu's been terrific. I know Welsh, this was one of your guys, and I'm not somebody I was in on going into the season, but he's been terrific. Fascinating to see if they do move Duran in the coming days ahead. Trevor Rogers continues to be awesome. 6 innings and a W over the Rays. Some moments there were not good for Pepio, unfortunately for him. And then we had some pitchers who, big pitchers of note, some varying performances. Tarik Skubal, great. Struck out 11 guys in 6 2/3, but a no decision. Hunter Brown, again, not great. So people are starting to freak out a little about Hunter Brown. Also, Bryan Wu. Finally, the streak is broken. He gave up 5 runs, 4 earned. So, again, this was just bound to happen. Maybe you could say, well, the All-Star break, people get off their routine, would give Wu a pass. But are we giving Hunter Brown a pass? Because I'm getting a ton of questions about him because this is now like 3 or 4 starts where he hasn't looked very Hunter Brown-like. Are you worried that there's an injury or something else going on here with Hunter Brown?
I don't think there's an injury. I think it's just league adjustment. We talked to, I mean, because I think he had this like right before the break as well. Yeah, I mean, he's got 3 straight starts of at least either not going 5 or giving up 4 more earned runs. It's the worst run he's had this entire season. But you're also looking at like a short sample size of, what was it, June, he had a 1.19 ERA, and in July, he's got a 6.43. So to me, that's a really good buying opportunity. The only negatives would be like this team is, they're ticking down right now. Jeremy Pena should be back really soon. Yordan Alvarez, maybe, but I don't 100% know what they're competing for. But I would take this as an opportunity with not just like one bad start, but multiple to try to get him as like a late trade option. Also, once we get through this, I want to circle. Let's finish out your pitchers, but I want to circle back at the top of the headlines on the trade stuff, just as a little to side here. But Hunter Brown as a buy.
Okay. We could also do it during rumors because we have a lot of rumors. Jeff Passan just unloaded on the Twitter machine. So we could do that. So Bryan Wu, bad. Hunter Brown, bad. Mackenzie Gore, 8 runs, also not good. Over 2 1/3 innings, lost to the Padres. So that made Michael Calley, our producer, very happy. But Mackenzie Gore, unfortunately, not good. So, for those people who are waiting for, these big pitching performances this weekend, there was more letdowns than anything. Here's one from Ryan, too, a question. Suarez or Caminero rest of season? I'll take Caminero. Thank you very much.
Caminero, easily Caminero. But I 100% understand the question, and saying easily kind of is dismissive of Suarez, but I will take Junior Caminero. By the way, just want to point out with Mackenzie Gore too, that was my article right before the end of the break saying I'm going to bounce out on Mackenzie Gore if I can, especially with how bad this team is running. And sure enough, all the things aligned. He had a 6-inning, 7 strikeout game, put that article together, and he comes out and gets blown up for 8 earned runs. So probably a good selling opportunity if you took it once we released that article.
Certainly was, that's for sure. All right, let's get to some transactions because there were some over the weekend and some coming today. The Phillies agreed to a 1-year contract with David Robertson. David Robertson, is this your answer, Philadelphia? Really?
They got. This is what I was saying though, because you were talking about big splashes. They already invested. They had invested in Romano. They've got Alvarado. I know it can't be playoff, but I'm saying like they had made the investment. I think some of these teams get put in this spot where it's like they had done so much to attempt to cover. You got Matt Strong. They have so many guys where they're really going to trade assets to go and get a big reliever. And this is the type of thing you kind of felt that was going to happen. David Robertson is a former closer. I don't think he's a great option, but what he is a live body to Alvarado if you don't have him in the playoffs. So I still think Alvarado is probably going to get some of those save opportunities, but whoever's going to be the guy in September, I think it's going to start to flip to that player, whether they decide Strom, David Robertson, whoever it is. They just got a bullpen bunch of no names, a bunch of guys that you don't know who to trust. And this is about what I thought they were going to do. And he'd been trying to get on a team the whole season, David Robertson was.
If you have tickets for the Philadelphia Phillies to get to or win the World Series, cash them now. Cash them now. Get out. Because this is not the answer, boys and girls. And if this is them showing their hand, Philadelphia, you deserve better. The Mets are going to recall Francisco Alvarez. He had 2 home runs on Friday. He's hitting a lot of home runs. You're not hitting a lot of else. I don't know. The Mets offense could certainly use some help. We'll see if Alvarez is the solution. And the Brewers recalled Tyler Black. Remember Tyler Black? So he's back up there for the Brew Crew. Also some rumors. Jeff Passan, like I said, just unloaded. So Ryan Helsley, he's saying, is going to get moved. Cedric Mullins, the most likely Oriole to get moved. David Bednar is more likely to be traded than not. Taj Bradley is the likeliest, quote-unquote, of the Tampa Bay pitchers to go who have team control. And then Seth Lugo, who we said could help a lot of teams, also potentially on the move. I keep saying, if the Phillies don't want to pay a lot, just go get Bednar. Bednar hasn't given up an earned run in his last 15 innings. Bednar, since that April send-down, has been awesome. Like, I understand you don't want to, pay through the nose for a Class A or a Duran or somebody. Okay, cool. But go get Bednar at least. But
the Phillies didn't need to. They got someone off the wire. They didn't spend anything outside of some cash. The one thing that's lost,
who's like 40 years old. I
don't necessarily disagree. The thing that's a little bit lost on this, and this is why I wanted to track back, is Jeff Passan. They put this article out on ESPN, like the most likely candidates. But what we led with the show is number one on their article. They put Eugenio Suarez, the number one most likely player to be traded. And the thing that I wanted to circle back most is there's a rumor out there. It was with some Yankees, I think. It might have been blogs and stuff like that. You take it for what it is. But their rumor is apparently a 5 prospect deal on the table for Suarez, Kelly, and Jalen Beeks, which I immediately think that's not true because every stupid trade that someone's like, who says no? It'll be like for 4 players, 4 major league players and then some prospects. Like usually these trades don't have like a ton of major league players, but just for argument's sake, there's a rumor out there that the Yankees would be sending 5 for Kelly, Suarez, and Beeks, and Schlittler is the guy apparently at the top. No Spencer Jones and no George Lombard. Obviously no George Lombard, but that's the rumor that's going out there because the Diamondbacks want pitching in a Suarez.
In person a couple weeks ago, color me completely unimpressed.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Opposite end of every prospect world, but he's not getting traded. Diamondbacks want pitching. Suarez is the hottest guy out there.
Every prospect guru, right? Who is, just loving all these guys all the time just because. Why? Because he's another.
Well, no, scouts. I'm talking scouts. If anything, fantasy prospect people would be a little bit less impressed because the batting average has really struggled this year. Yeah, it's the inverse. It is scouts that are absolutely in love. One scout came out of the futures game saying George Lombard was hands down the best player there. He was a step above every other prospect there. And the dude's hitting like 240 right now too. But that's the scouting world.
Stinks. I watched him.
He does not stink.
He stinks. He is not. It's not special. Not special. I watched him take every at bat. I was sitting right there, field level. Watch George Lombard because I know it's George Lombard. I remember his dad. Okay, let's see what goes on. Maybe the new Nepo baby around town. Could be.
I don't know. But on the Suarez side, he is the hottest commodity out there. And it's going to take a team that is willing and has pitching assets. The Diamondbacks are in a great spot as long as they stop winning and don't hold on to these guys. That's the worst thing that can happen. But 10 days. We got 10 days until the deadline. This is going to be the most fascinating one. Cubs are in on it. Yankees are in, but Yankees have the pitching prospects, and it is going to take a haul now because of that big, crazy run. But all of these guys on this list, I don't think they're all getting moved. Like I see the whole Taj Bradley thing. I'm not sure about Lugo. Bednar, Mullins, Helsley, I think are at the top, but Eugenio Suarez is the number one on the trade market right now.
Yeah, just looking at Lombard's stats here too for 2025. Again, maybe it's just this transition to Double-A. Maybe he's just struggling there.
He's like 20 years old at Double-A.
I see his high A numbers were good. Okay, so I didn't see him when he was playing, but I watched him at Double-A against a Philly team that's not very good, and the pitching was not very good, and he was struggle bus. He's hitting 208 right now, by the way, over 60 games at Double-A. 208. His slugging percentage is 333. His OPS is 666. Like I said, he don't look good. Now he's an athlete, so that's the problem. Is they love the athletes, right? Oh, he looks like a baseball player physically. He's got really good tools, quote unquote, in terms of he's fast and he looks good doing it. It's all, pedigree of a major league dad and all that stuff. But watching him take at bats, he was miserable. He was terrible. He's a 20-year-old at Double-A. Like
I would never be ready to call anybody stinks and done at that level, especially with that type of talent. But that's the weirdness of the whole thing. A guy that, like you said, is hitting under 210 at Double-A, has struggled from a season overall total that he was getting such praise at the All-Star game over some big name players. But that's also, again, that is in the real scouting market of he has all the intangibles to be a fantastic player. You're just waiting for them to click. And that's the hard thing about prospecting is when you look at a player that has not clicked, you're like, well, this is overhyped and I got to sell. And then the guys click. Spencer Jones, we'll talk about in a second, is a prime example of one of those players. Now it could all fall apart because he has some major issues that are floating out there, but it's just when it clicks. That's the thing that is prospecting is who is this player when it clicks, and that's the George Lombard, I think, dilemma right now.
We shall see. I'll let you know. I'll probably see him again in a couple of weeks. That brings us to more prospect talk here on the show. It's time for Prospecting with the Welsh. That's right. The Welsh are going to take a look at some prospects, and we are going to start again with Spencer Jones this week. 4 for 5, 2 homers on Sunday. He's been on a tear. He's got 10 homers in 13 games since the start of July. He got the bump up to AAA. He was crushing Double-A Everything has gone really well for Spencer Jones. And to me, he is probably the untouchable piece. If the Yankees are going to move Lombard, good. That'll bring back something for you. Good, do it. Schlittler, I don't know, man. I think he's a really good young pitcher. I don't know if I'm ready after what I saw to move on from him. So the Yankees are in a tough spot because they have some of these guys who are getting closer. Spencer Jones being one of them. Schlittler's already made his appearance, but Spencer Jones can't be stopped right now. So what's changed here, Welsh? Because in the profile, it was always the strikeout totals that were the problem. He's a bigger guy with a bigger strike zone. Sometimes that takes a little longer for guys to mature and start to learn about themselves. But you can't deny, no matter what's happening in the past, that right now in the present, Spencer Jones is crushing baseballs.
Yeah, and this is going to be my one, like, none of you get him, I get him, because this is one of those guys that has had so many warts on it that people have written off. No top 100 prospect. I've held tight. I moved him down a little bit, but I have held tight. I have long been the Spencer Jones guy. And so this is my little moment. But the problem absolutely is that in all of the positives, there are some big negatives. And the two biggest negatives are his swing and miss, / chase rate. That equates to strikeouts. And that's going to be the thing that's always going to hold him back. It's like near the tippy top of chase. What we're seeing, though, is he's filling out and fixing that hole that was in the swing when you were chasing through. And he made a change earlier this year with the torpedo bat, and we didn't really see any big results, but I've always been a defender. And I think I did this last week. We were talking about it. Like, my big defense of Spencer Jones was anyone that's like, well, he's a little old for the level. It's like, well, dude's been a full-time hitter for like 3 years. That's it. He was a pitcher at Vanderbilt, but now he's completely locked in. The 6'7", 240, as some people in the chat were freaking out. That's always been the thing. This is a tools. This is what this player can provide. So what he did, to come back and just give the final answer, you're like, what has changed? Well, I think it's finding his comfortability, because he did off-season work where they were biomechanical, like looking at his swing and where he hits the ball. And that is why they brought in the torpedo bat. Like, where you make your level of contact, the torpedo bat is going to optimize. He hadn't found that, and he clearly finally has. He just had a June where he hit .319 with 9 homers and 4 stolen bases. In July, how about .455 with 8 homers, 5 stolen bases, and probably the most positive, an under 30% K percentage this month. He has done so well that he has his averages can be seen on screen over 300 right now. He's a 6'7", almost 250-pound outfielder that has almost 20 stolen bases. If he plays a little bit longer, he's going to have a 30-20 season in the minors. He's an immense talent. Maybe this run and maybe the fixes have made the Yankees change their mind and make him untouchable. A lot have kind of felt this could be the guy that gets moved, and this is the reason they could get one of those big players, which I would love. But from a fantasy perspective, I love Spencer Jones, and this trade could put him in the majors if he is traded. Let's say he's traded to a team, maybe even the Diamondbacks, that I think we need to pay attention to Spencer Jones. If he doesn't get traded and there's a big injury in some capacity in the outfield, I think he's going to get a look. I think he'd get a look at the end of the season, or if he's traded, kind of like what we've talked about with Owen Casey, we might see him. But Spencer Jones has made a huge, huge change. He looks like he's completely tapping into all that potential. And it feels good for me to have a little bit of a moment before he starts striking out 40% of the time in the majors, which he will.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I agree. He will probably too. But look, if he hits some home runs too, then, people will rejoice. CJ Kayfus, we continue to wait for him. And look, with good reason. Unfortunately, the Guardians, just refused to go ahead and make this move yet. He's hitting .292 at AAA with a .377 OBP, a .558 slugging, a .934 OPS. He has 13 homers and 42 RBI in just 61 games. So what's the holdup here? Are we going to see CJ sooner than later in Cleveland?
Yeah, so actually I have like another little piece to add to this of why we put him back on here. Because like the stats in general, like CJ Kayfus has just been a dude all season, whether it was 2 months ago, a month ago, like we've kind of continuously been talking about like, hey, you need to pay attention to him. Unfortunately, this team didn't bring him up, but also maybe fortunately, this team is kind of stinking right now. So how much longer is Carlos Santana for this team? If they're talking about trading pieces like Emmanuel Clase, and Stephen Kwan was number 2 in that article by Passan about the most likely players to get traded. If they do that, how much longer is a guy like Carlos Santana there? But if they trade Kwan or Santana, here's the positive. Kayfus has played both in the outfield a decent amount and at first base. And the other likely player, this is the big piece of why I put him on here, Chase DeLauder is just a lost cause at this point. He is back at a hand specialist getting checked out after re-aggravating that thing. He's not coming up. It's just not going to happen anytime soon. So that just leaves CJ Kayfus as the clear player to come up who can play left, who can play right. He can play first base, strong left-handed bat, hitting over 300, 400 OBP. Classic, by the way, Guardians player. The strikeouts aren't as big of an issue. He's walked a bunch. The bat's ready. He got it to the futures game. And I think whether it is, if Quan is traded, it's Kayfus time. If Santana, if we get to August, I think he's gone and they bring up CJ Kayfus to get him some runs. So I think he's coming up in the very near future. And this is why we want to start looking to stash CJ Kayfus.
Yeah, sad for DeLauder, man. It looked like things were really going his direction. But again, the injuries just keep on coming. Now, a guy that started off pretty rough this year, but things have gotten back on track. A Mets prospect, Brandon Sproat, who's rumored in a lot of potential deals too. McLean, we talked about recently. We know Jonah Tong has had a great season in Double-A. He looks, to me, that's the guy. Of all the Mets pitchers, he's the one that jumps off the page the most to me. But Sproat, 9 strikeouts, 1 run, 0 earned over 5 innings on Saturday this weekend. So that certainly did a lot for his value, I would think, not only in the Mets organization, but possibly his trade value as well if the Mets make a move. So if Sproat does get moved, do we see him potentially this season, or is this more of a dynasty look ahead? Is Sproat starting to get back on track after a rough opening to the season?
I think it plays both ways. I think, this team has had just a lot of like wish-wash with some of their starting pitcher production as of recent. If they don't make any big move, I think they could potentially look to a guy like Brandon Sproat. And as you mentioned, I think he's probably at the top of the trade market. If they were to go make a splash and surprise us, I'm not sure Sprout goes for like a Mitch Keller or anything like that. But, I do think that in some capacity, like what we've talked about with Owen Casey or CJ Kayfus, like Sprout's one of those guys that's going to get some run this year. And his recent output has just looked so much better on the strikeout front. ERA still looks a little bit inflated, but it just doesn't tell the full story of where he's been so far this season. So I'm relatively encouraged, even though like I think he's not on a lot of radars with, just higher inflated ERAs of 4.5. But I think we're going to see Sprout, no Tong, no McLean. They are not getting traded, but this has a 2-path for me. So that's why Sprout made this list. A really good start in his last outing. Good fastball, just needed consistency. So be on the lookout, whether it's with the Mets or another team. I think we're going to see some production out of him. He's not Bubba Chandler. He's not Andrew Painter. And to be frank, he might not even be the next tier, but he's probably right at the top of that other tier. So I would be comfortable putting him in spot start situations. Take a look. If you're looking for some innings, you're looking for someone that has a hot run right now, Sprout might be the guy.
And that's prospecting with the Welsh for this week. Head over to FantasyPros.com for more prospect talk. And, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We also just did our recent MLB draft special. So if you're into Dynasty Baseball, that's the place to be. Go check that out. It's living on our YouTube channel. Subscribe today to Fantasy Pros MLB. Shout out to more people subbing, too. We have Roster Baiting, Claude, Jay Chow, Game Over, all resubbing. Actually, Claude, is first-time chatter. So welcome, Claude. Happy to have you there. Baby Billy resubbed. Again, if you want to sub here to our Twitch, twitch.tv/fantasypros, $5 with your Amazon Prime. You get rid of the commercials and just in time, too, because football season's around the corner, so we're going to do a ton of football stuff. Fun facts, Aaron Judge hit his 351st home run. That's tied for 6th all-time on the Yankees list already, which is incredible. Tied with A-Rod. So
that's crazy. That's actually a crazy stat that's like real life.
Because it's the Yankees. It's not
like, I know. It's not like the Marlins.
Nationals home run. Yeah, right, exactly. He's tied Jeff Conine for 12 home runs for the all-time lead
That's
for
crazy.
The Marlins. But yeah, it's the only people ahead of him. It's Ruth, Mantle, Gehrig, Yogi Berra, and I'm forgetting somebody. Who am I forgetting? DiMaggio. Yeah. But he's right. But DiMaggio, I think, only has like 356 or something. So he's going to pass DiMaggio, if memory serves. He's like in the 350-ish, I think. So DiMaggio's next. Yeah, it's going to crush. 3 up and 3 down. Shohei Ohtani 1 for 3, but his 34th home run on the year. Royce Lewis doubled his season home run total from 2 to 4 with 2 solo home runs Sunday. So signs of life from him. And speaking of the Twinkies, Joe Ryan, 11 strikeouts. Great performance by him. The downs, Janson junk was junk. 6 runs, 5 earned. So Ranger Suarez, 6 runs of his own, who had been so good. Bad loss to the Angels Sunday for the Phillies. And then Jeffrey Springs allowed 5 runs on 4 hits against the Guardians. He was not good. Big update on the injury front. Blake Snell pitched very well in his last minor league rehab start, AAA, Oklahoma City. 6 strikeouts, 4 innings of 1-run baseball for him. That's huge. So we're up to already, Welsh, 4 innings with him. We're going to see Blake Snell very soon. Do we see Blake Snell next week pitching in the big leagues before I leave? Do we see Blake Snell?
I think so.
First.
Yeah. You got 2 weeks. So I definitely think we're going to see him. That's at least, even if he were to do one more minor league rehab assignment. But, you know, the possibility of why he wouldn't be up is the previous one was out here in the Arizona Fall League, and then you jumped up. But also, like, what do you need to do more for? There are just some players that you look at and you're just like, does this guy, he just did a AAA. Does he really need like 4 more? Does he need another? Just put him in the majors. So I think there's a definite possibility we see Snell in the other one, but we will see him before you are gonzo.
So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe he makes one more rehab start this weekend, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then
Friday, Saturday, I think.
Yeah. And then we see him probably the 31st, maybe, like just before. I want Blake Snell on the 31st. I want him right before. I have to look and see if they're even playing that day. Other injury news, bad news. Isaac Paredes 10-day IL with hamstring strain. That's not good. They already are down Alvarez. Down Paredes is not good. Zach Eflin told everybody that he is ready to rejoin the Orioles rotation. Is the Oriole rotation ready for him? Mm-hmm. Adley Rutschman is on track to begin a minor league rehab assignment tomorrow. Kyle Bradish is going to make another rehab assignment Thursday. So a lot of injury news when it comes to the Orioles. Austin Riley is running the bases. That's good news. Freddie Freeman, day-to-day x-rays negative on that wrist. Brandon Lau, and now has plantar fasciitis.
He had a flare up. He had it. It was a little bit of like a flare up in the plantar fasciitis. So he did not, he wasn't in the lineup on Sunday, but they didn't make a big major move on him yet. So
Alek Manoah, 1 run, 2 innings on Sunday in a rehab start for low A. We'll keep an eye on him and his comeback. Nestor Cortez, 1 run and 5 1/3 on Friday. So he's probably on his way back next week to that rotation too. Is it Quinn Priester gets bounced?
That's why Logan Henderson was just never an option anymore. Yeah, but I don't know. Quinn Priester's been so good. I feel like we're missing somebody that could get the push out.
Well, who's low? We got Woodruff. We got Peralta. We got Mizorowski.
Yeah.
We got Quinn Priester.
Who's the 5th that we're forgetting here? Jose Quintana, I think that's the 5th one.
I don't think you're losing Quintana. You're not losing the left.
I think I don't know how you get Priester out of that lineup. I'm you know what? It's a good question. I'm not 100% sure who gets knocked out. I guess Priester seems like the likely, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're going to keep the veteran Quintana. That's what they're going to do. Spencer Arrighetti, 4 strikeouts, 3 scoreless for him. He should be back soon too. That was a Double-A, which brings us to the best bets
of the day
with Joey P and the Welsh. I'm going for strikeouts today, baby. Yuri Perez, 6+ Ks, plus 158. Let's go. I'm the big believer in Yuri Perez, and I believe today he will get me more than 6 strikeouts. Brandon Woodruff, 7+ strikeouts at plus 130. These are both alternate numbers today. I'm pushing the envelope a little bit because these guys have been on fire lately, and I think the numbers are a little too low. And then Shohei Ohtani, another one too, 4+ strikeouts. For him, he had 3 in his first inning of work last time. Plus 105, you're getting this at. So, again, Woodruff, Yuri, and Ohtani. Triple Ks today, baby. Let's go. All the strikeouts we could possibly get. Let's go to Welsh. What do you have here for the people on a Monday?
I actually like that Ohtani one. Sometimes even if I want to play it safe, might pair like 2 down, so just throwing this out, like, one of mine, you could take my Kodai Senga and Shohei Ohtani, go Ohtani 3, Senga 5 if you want to play that. But I really like your number in general. But my number 1 is Kodai Senga, as mentioned. I'm going to go 5.5 strikeouts on the over. He did not push a whole bunch of innings in his return or pitches. I think it was like 69 pitches. We're hoping for over 80 in this one. But also the Angels, one of the highest strikeouts per game. I think they're like bottom 3 or 4 in the league in strikeouts per game. So I think this is only this low simply because we're uncertain of how far he's going to go into the game, but we're going to push 80+ pitches. Kodai Senga over 5.5, like that one. I am with you as far as the Dodgers, and you're covering Shohei Ohtani. I'm going to cover the run line for this team because it's plus money. It is plus money against this underperforming-ish Twins team, even though the Dodgers have just ridiculous with the Brewers right now. They're going to take out their frustrations. Ohtani's going to hold it down early. David Festa's got an over 5 ERA. So Dodgers win by more than 2 at plus money. And the Diamondbacks are going to continue to hurt me because I don't want them to win. I want them to sell the pieces. And today you got an Astros team that's bringing out Gordon. Gordon's got a 4.67, Colton Gordon, a 4.67 ERA so far in the year. Yes, they've got Zach Gallen, but these are the moments where Zach Gallen can really hurt you. You want him to just be, the Diamondbacks are on a run. There's momentum. He is going to flash a great outing here. And this team does not have Alvarez, does not have Pena, and does not have Paredes. They're down everybody. So Diamondbacks to win by 2 plus 141 on the run line. Diamondbacks are going to win another one and make it so difficult to trade. Those are my best bets of the day.
And of course, place your bets over at FanDuel, fantasypros.com/leadingoff. Bet 5, win $250 if your first bet hits. Only on FanDuel for new customers at fantasypros.com/leadingoff. And speaking of leading off, use that term leading off, that promo code, put it into Betting Pros when you download the BP app for free. And then for free also, you get the 7-day free trial of the premium betting tools. Bet smarter, not harder, at Betting Pros. All right, let's take a look at the home run board. Finally updated. Wonky Penguin representing us. Thank God for Wonky. George has broken 41, and so has Whips.
How did it get tied? Whoa, look at that. I don't know if people realize that thing was like, I think it was George who was up by 4 or 5 forever. It is tied.
It's tied, and Positive Grouch at 40 right behind, far out at 38. Now we got ourselves a race, baby.
Wow.
It's like McGuire and Sosa. Let's go. So you win the Sammy Sosa jersey here from Pristine Auction, autographed. Welsh, where are you going with your home run call today?
I am going to go with some more momentum. I'm going to stick with the Diamondbacks, and I'm going to take Ketel Marte. I thought about Corbin Carroll, but you guys didn't see this story. Ketel is an emotional guy who's going to take big moments. During the All-Star, actually, while he was playing at the All-Star game, his house was robbed out here. Yeah. $400,000 worth of stuff was taken from him, which is just crazy. You guys know I love me some Ketel Marte, but I'm taking the Diamondbacks. It's a rough year, which is everything he's gone through. But I think he's
the guy who broke into his house was the guy that was trolling.
Can you imagine? Well, I think it was a Cubs fan. That guy would look and see his flight log to see if he came out here. But it was a total hit on him because everybody was gone. Pretty crazy. I'm going to say Ketel's going to take that momentum. He's going to be back at home. Fans are supportive. They're here for him. And he's going to light up Gordon and probably a first inning homer. So Ketel Marte, I'm going to take a bomb. It's not a $400,000 homer, but it is one that's going to still not get me on the board. I have no idea where I'm at. I think I'm like 4 away from the board.
Worth of what though? Like jewelry and stuff?
Oh, I mean, when you're
I guess he's got a lot of bling.
There's probably plenty of people with one painting that's worth that. Yeah, God knows what it is, dude.
Yeah, that's like more.
I don't have $400,000 worth of anything in my house.
No. I don't know if I have $4,000 worth of anything in my house.
Maybe with the I got some good baseballs here. But
I guess this is like you could add a couple things up there, make it. All right, I'm going with Nick Kurtz despite the spike call here today against Jack Leiter. That's what I'm doing. So because I just want to enjoy that. I just want to enjoy that because I can't get on the board. It's over. It's done. So now I'm just gonna have fun with my home run picks every day. I decided that's what I'm gonna do. Who knows? Maybe this will lead me down a very nice path. But Nick Kurtz tonight against Jack Leiter. That's what I'm doing. Where are you going? Place your home run calls in our Discord, fantasypros.com/chat. And of course, follow us here at Fantasy Pros MLB for more fantasy baseball talk. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Janson junk.
He stinks.
I just like saying Janson junk.
Janson junk stinks.
Yeah.
Not George Lombard.
His junk stinks? George Lombard's not good. He's overrated. Just saying.